This is Cristiano, he's a footballer. This is Mbappe, he's a footballer. This is Ibrahimovic, once again, a footballer. If they are successful, it isn't about their footballistic talent, it's one thing: ego. Ego has an evil connotation, but what if I told you that's the reason why they are successful in the first place? The real question: what happens if ego goes unchecked? It's exactly what happened in the Karmelo Anthony case last year. The lives of two teenagers drastically changed forever. So what happened? Why people care? And what are the long-term consequences? Let's go. We're starting off with the victim, Austin Metcalf. Who is he? Well, turns out he's a white football player who is surprisingly very smart. 4.0 GPA in high school. Okay, I see you. Despite his academic and physical capabilities, he was competing on a track meet last year. And he was just minding his business until this guy comes up, Karmelo Anthony. According to some reports, Karmelo was invited by one of their mutuals, but for XYZ reason, Hunter, his twin brother, and Austin felt threatened. They didn't want no Karmelo in their tent, so they asked him several times to leave the area. Normally, in situations like this, most folks would call other teachers to come deal with this situation, but not Austin. Austin, he was the guy. Austin wanted to deal with this situation by himself. He asked him one time, no. He asked him 2 times, no. 3, 4, 5, several times. Karmelo insisted in staying put. So he did logically what teenagers would do: escalate the situation. Now this is where reports are conflicting. Some say Austin tapped him gently, some say it was a light push, some say it was a grab, but the general consensus, Austin was the first one initiating the contact. By trying to forcibly remove Karmelo out of the tent, that led to his demise. Unfortunately, he got stabbed once. He died. Moving on to the aggressor, Karmelo Anthony. Who is he? He's black, he's a runner, he's a track star. And he is surprisingly smart, just like Austin Metcalf. 3.8 GPA in high school. So looking at the situation, we got both folks that are academically smart, but street smarts are stupid. Obviously, his accolade made him believe he was on top of the world, he was a king, and he had an alter ego left unchecked. According to reports, he frequently got into confrontations with school for carrying his switch knife. Switch knives are banned under school rules, but not illegal under Texas law. Since he thought he was the king of the world, he obviously ignored the rules and still had that switch knife with him at the time of Austin's death. Back to last year, Karmelo was invited by some mutuals and he wasn't posing no harm. He was chatting up with his so-called friend at the time of the death, but for an unknown reason, he was asked to leave. Since he had a lot of accolades to his names, jobs, football player, track and field star, he was untouchable. When Austin and Hunter Metcalf asked him to leave, he said this: "Touch me, see what happens." And obviously, Austin, having the big ego that he has, touched him. All of a sudden, Karmelo grabbed a knife, stabbed him, and ran away. Looking at this whole situation, it is clear Karmelo was not gonna leave this tent without a fight. I'm staying put. Unfortunately, this situation led to the death of Austin Metcalf. In Texas, they have the best self-defense laws in the world, but unfortunately, this guy had a broad understanding how self-defense worked, and it will later play against him. We probably never know what's the underlying motivations with it. He probably think he could get away with murder, but he was later quickly apprehended and
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
he sobbed uncontrollably to the point of asking legal advice to a police officer. Honestly, those are the last folks you should be talking when you commit a crime. But hey, he's 17. Once he realized the severity of the actions, he got a crash back on earth. Looking at the skin color of the people involved, Austin being a white man, Karmelo being a black guy, holy, you could not talk about the weaponization of the whole situation. Fox News, the conservative community, and even American society transformed this murder into a racial component. And I really find it ironic because Laken Riley, Charlie Kirk, whenever the victim is white, holy shit. Best believe this situation is going to be transformed into a bigger situation than it is.
Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time.
And this case made no exception. It seems like white folks have a bias of their own.
When a man what did he do? They say that it's not about race, but there was not one black person on that jury. It was automatically about race.
God forbid they antagonize someone.
Look at him chimping out.
Saying the N-word around. Oh, it's just a word. Oh, why y'all being snowflakes?
Look at this chimping out. You following me to my truck now? We got 18 rounds for you. We ain't got nothing else.
They never look at this situation. When the black person retaliate, they're gonna make them look like a victim.
I support freedom of speech. I believe he acted in self-defense.
That's what happened. Chud was assaulted, he defended himself.
Or if they can't make them look like a victim, they're going to reduce the whole situation by providing financial support, legal aid, and you name it.
More than $300,000 and counting. Donations continue to pour in for Dalton Etherly, the controversial influencer known as Chud the Builder.
The news network that best represents this whole situation is Fox News. Fox News, holy, their editorial staff, they enjoy painting black and brown and Democrats in a bad light.
And unfortunately, the lesson that Democrats seem to have learned from the 2024 election is to lean into the most radical fringes of their party.
This case made no exception. They were on it 24/7. The underlying narrative was to make it seem if it was a racially based crime. To control the narrative and to ensure maximum conviction, they vetted the process, they ensured there was no black jurors in the jury, they made sure to overstack charges, and in the end, what happened? Karmelo Anthony gets 35 years in prison.
Karmelo Anthony, the former Texas high school student, convicted of murdering another teen who was on a rival track team. Anthony was sentenced last night to 35 years in prison.
Karmelo can count himself lucky. His age and his criminal history played a favor for his sentencing. Karmelo only needs to serve half of his sentence until he is eligible for parole. There's another thing going on as well. He's planning to appeal the whole process. Looking at similar cases, white folks typically get lesser charges and lower sentences as well.
So in both cases, jurors had the option to convict the defendants of murder or manslaughter.
Today we learned having big ego can be a catalyst and lead to devastating consequences. In this case, both families have lost. One son is dead, another one is in jail, and the narrative is continually being pushed forward where white folks are the victims of circumstances and black folks are criminals. Had these two kids had their egos placed in checks, either Karmelo, he left when those folks were aching him to leave, or Austin Metcalf simply minded his business, none of this would have happened. But since two folks have their egos way above their asses, you have a situation leading to a terrible outcome. Folks, swallow your prides. It's not worth it. It's not worth dying over this whole situation. It's obviously not worth killing someone over asking them to leave. If they ask you to leave, leave. And if someone refuses to leave, Call them higher up. Let them deal with the situation. I'm actually so bad with intro outros, okay? So yeah, this is where we are. Take care.